Hey everybody, it's time for NHL Games of the Week, where I look ahead at the upcoming week in the NHL, Sunday through Saturday, and talk about what I think will be the best games and best matchups in the NHL this week. Now before we begin, I just ask that you please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Both of those things help out so much and are greatly appreciated. But let's get right into it here, looking at the best games this week in the NHL. As you can see, there's quite a few on the list this week, although I was rather judicious with what I called the game of the week because there are a ton of games in the NHL this week. Every night, you're looking at least 4 or 5 games. Some nights you've got, around 10. There are a lot of games in the NHL this week, and I feel like I could have had 4 or 5 games from each night. But I wanted to be a little more judicious than that with what I called a game of the week. So we're going to start on Sunday today, the 14th, with the only two games that are happening today. And that is the Washington Capitals versus Pittsburgh Penguins and the Colorado Avalanche versus Vegas Golden Knights. So Washington and Pittsburgh, Crosby versus Ovechkin, Caps Pens, longtime rivalry now. Incredible matchup. It's just, every time Washington and Pittsburgh plays, they're going to be on this list. I don't even think there's really much explaining to do. It's pretty obvious that that's one of the top matchups in the NHL. Colorado versus Vegas. Colorado just returning from a long break because of COVID issues, so they are getting back in action tonight against the Golden Knights. That's going to be a really fun game. I just think these are the two best teams in that West Division. And with these two teams being the best, when they meet up, it's going to be a huge matchup. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be good hockey. I do think Colorado is probably going to be a little rusty coming back from not having played in so long. So it may not be the cleanest, most dynamic game tonight. But anytime Vegas and Colorado plays, that's going to be huge out west. I also, just going to throw this out there, going to be streaming play-by-play for both of these games today. So going to be a lot of fun later, starting with Washington and Pittsburgh at 3, and then doing Colorado and Vegas at 7. But moving on now to tomorrow, Monday night, I have the Florida Panthers versus Tampa Bay Lightning. The two top teams in the Central Division, in my opinion, at least so far, the way that they've played this season, and I believe based on record as well, they're the two best teams. They've just been absolutely phenomenal this year, and they've already played twice. They split those first 2 games, so it's going to be really fun to see what happens here in the third one, kind of the rubber match to see who wins this 3-game set. And then Calgary versus Vancouver. These teams have also played twice already. They've also split. And going to be really exciting to see who takes the third matchup out of 4 in a row between those two teams. So just going to be exciting there. Vancouver desperately needs wins to try and get back on track. Calgary trying to keep up in the North, trying to pull into a playoff position and keep up with the likes of Edmonton and Winnipeg. So a big game for them as well. That will be fun. Moving on to Tuesday the 16th, we have Washington versus Pittsburgh again. This is the second game of this 2-game set between these two. And again, everything I said about the first matchup applies to the second one. It's Pens Caps. It's always going to be on here. We also have the Avalanche and Golden Knights playing again on Tuesday. And again, huge matchup in the West. Everything still applies. I think these are the two best teams that are going to be fighting for first place all season long in that division. So quickly moving on now to Wednesday. The 17th, we've got Florida versus Carolina. Carolina, I think, is going to be right there with Tampa Bay and Florida as far as those top teams in that Central Division go. And, I don't know. I'm a little surprised Florida's up there. So we'll see if they hold that level of play all season long. But at least for right now, Florida's been one of the best in that division. So is Carolina. So that's going to be a huge matchup there between those two. And a really fun one to watch as well. I can't wait to see if that ends up being a really high-scoring game or if the defenses come through and keep it pretty low-scoring. That's going to be interesting to watch. And then we also have Vancouver and Calgary again. The 4th game in a row between those two teams. And again, huge matchup in the North. Two teams that desperately need the wins. And there's going to be a lot on the line in that one. So that will be a really fun one. Moving on now to Thursday, the 18th. I have the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. Hopefully, the Philadelphia Flyers are back for this game. They're obviously going through some serious COVID issues right now. And they're not playing currently. They've had their games right around right now postponed. This game, though, has not officially been postponed yet. It could be the first game back for the Flyers to play when they do return from this break. So hopefully this game does happen. But anytime the Rangers and Flyers play, it's always a fun matchup. It doesn't seem to matter where these two teams are in the standings, or if one's good and one isn't, or if they're both good, or if they're both not. It doesn't seem to matter. When these two teams play, it's really fun hockey to watch. They don't like each other. It's usually physical, and they usually play pretty competitive games with each other. Also on Thursday, we have the New York Islanders versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. So Pittsburgh gets on the list with another matchup here. And the Isles and Pens have played really good, tight games against each other this season. They're really going at it for that fourth spot, fourth place in the East, up for grabs. And these two teams, one of these two teams wants to be in it, and both these teams want to be in it. One of them is likely going to be. The other one is going to be on the outside looking in. And so it's always a huge matchup trying to jockey for playoff positioning when these two play. And they've, like I said, played really good, close games against each other so far this year in their matchups. So I'm excited for that one on Thursday. And also on Thursday, we get a Stanley Cup Finals rematch from last year. I believe for the first time this season. If I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm just not remembering. But Dallas and Tampa Bay playing each other. Gonna be a absolutely awesome matchup between these two. Dallas has not been as good this year as I thought. They've kind of they came out pretty good, but then the last week or the last couple weeks now, really, it's been a little bit of a drop off for the Dallas Stars. So against a very tough team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think that's going to be a wild, wild game. And obviously they met in the finals last year, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see them meet again. And it's going to be a big test for Dallas, without a doubt. Moving on now, we have one game on Friday the 19th. It's just Calgary versus Edmonton, the Battle of Alberta. Battle of Alberta is back, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend as well. And not just one game between the two, as we're going to see as we move on to the Saturday as well. But they play on Friday in Calgary. And I mean, to me, it's just my favorite rivalry in the NHL right now. So there's really not much more else to say. It's the Battle of Alberta. It's going to be awesome. So we'll see how that one goes. And then on Saturday, there are a bunch of games on Saturday. One of them also being the rematch of the Battle of Alberta, this time in Edmonton on Saturday night. So they play back-to-back games against each other. Going to be really, really fun and exciting to see how that goes, without a doubt. Also that night, we have Vegas and Colorado playing again. This is the outdoor game, the first of the two outdoor games at Lake Tahoe this coming weekend, the 20th and the 21st. So going to be a huge matchup there. Like I said, we've talked about Colorado and Vegas a lot already in this video, but the outdoor game on NBC is going to be an absolute blast. We also have the Islanders and Penguins playing again. Like I said, they've played awesome games against each other so far this year. So their second matchup is certainly a game of the week. And also another matchup between the Lightning and the Stars. Everything about the first matchup applies to the second. It's going to be a really fun one. And a Stanley Cup Finals rematch from last year. So big day on Saturday for the NHL. They got some really, really good matchups. But overall this week, as you can see, a lot of good matchups this week. At least one game of the week every night. Most have two or three. And, big day on Saturday as well. So this is going to be a really fun week of NHL hockey. Can't wait to see it. Going to do my best to get some of these games streamed as well. And that's pretty much going to do it for games of the week this week, guys. So Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon, merchandise store, and donation link are in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.